ಬೇಡ.
So we are live now. Amritanshu, just keep telling us how many people are there on YouTube. Then we can start. So we are live now.
$27 at the moment.
Okay.
Oh. Athur, SETCOM lecture series से people are want that we should share the link. तो अभी would you decided whether Zoom link is to share right now or not?
Yeah, we can share, no problem.
हाँ, तो वो आप SETCOM lecture series पे डाल दीजिए.
Okay.
So,
Yes, Jen sir, you can start now.
Now I am starting, sir. Okay, welcome for the celebration of International Day of Human Space Flight. Namaskar, very warm welcome and cherished good morning to all. I am retired scientist from Space Application Center, currently chairman of Broadcast Engineers Society of India, Ahmedabad chapter, and former chairman of Ahmedabad Center, IETE. And it's my privilege that I have been given an opportunity to coordinate the program organized by Sri A.C. Mathur, Managing Director of Indian Space Industry Exhibitor, ISIE, for the online celebration of International Day of Human Space Flight. Slight background I will tell. Actually, on April 12, 1961, Yuri Gagarin of Soviet Union citizen became the first humans in space flight to orbit the Earth. This day is celebrated as the beginning of the space era for mankind, the contribution of space science and technology, and to ensure the realization to maintain the outer space for peaceful purpose. United Nations General Assembly observed this day to express the common interest of mankind that promotes the use of outer space for peaceful purpose. Respected chief guest for today's celebration, Dr. B.R. Guruprasad is the ex-associate director of Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO headquarters, Bangalore. He is a highly competent international personality who visited several countries like Australia, Dubai, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Japan, Qatar, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and the United States, and also worked with several leading international space agencies like German Space Agency, DLR, NASA, Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA. And currently I am representing the Broadcast Engineers Society India. I feel it will be more appropriate that I will tell his small contribution to the broadcast field. He was associated and delivered many broadcasts about more than 100 variety of scientific program, including live demo in program in All India Radio, Indira Gandhi Open University IGNU, FM station, Gyanwani, Doordarshan, Indian State Television, private channel etc. He delivered more than 500 lectures and made many TV documentaries on space and astronomy. So from BES side, I appreciate his contribution to this broadcast field also. He has written 12 books on astronomy and space in English and Kannada. His biography will be addressed by Shri Mathur subsequently. Other online dignitaries, Shri A.C. Mathur, retired Group Director, Space Application Center, ISRO Ahmedabad, and Managing Director of Indian Space Industry Exhibitor, ISI. Shri B.D. Mehtaji, an ex-scientist, headed Tube Amplifier Division of Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. Mr. Chintaman Pai, co-founder of Space Geek Mumbai, who is also well coordinating. Sri Jagannathan Venkatram, also, I am seeing him in space. Welcome, sir. Most enthusiastic participant from the various school, colleges, institute, organization, and industries. Our valuable invited guests, professionals from societies, industries, academicians, seniors from ISRO, PRL, and other institute. Our event supporters. Without the event supporter, we cannot run any events, such a huge events. And we have a good experience in the past where more than 3,000 participated. Space Geek Mumbai, Space Education Research founder, Surf Ahmedabad. I think Dr. Vats is also there. Welcome, sir. Pupil Science from Forum Mysore, Mr. Jagannathan Natha Venkatraman, sir. Space Science Club, Ghaziabad, UL Space Club, Kozhikode, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri Space Science Gallery, Ghaziabad, Broadcast Engineer Society, whom I am representing, IITR Aluminium Association, Ahmedabad, Sunrise India Samachar, who is our media partner, New Delhi. So these all have supported these events. So I heartily welcome all these persons. It's a very tough task to name all here, and I beg an excuse and apologize if I have missed few names here. Very warm welcome. Good morning to all. I will tell a slight brief outline of the program. First, the introduction will be of ISI will be delivered by Shri Mehta. Then presentation by Mr. Shivam Singh. He's third year Gorakhpur University students of BE. Then invited popular talk by Dr. Guruprasad ji, followed by Koschanan sir, and Mr. Chintan Manipai will have some announcement before his vote of thing. It's a really unique opportunity to learn and interact with the experienced prominent personality with international exposure in space field. Warm welcome again, and thanks to all speakers and dignitaries, participants, invited guests, VIP professionals for joining the event, for their gracious online present. Now I invite Shri B.D. Mehta to deliver his to give the presentation by IRC. Shri Mehta ji is the retired ISRO scientist. He has headed EPC and Tube Amplifier Division. He has great contribution in GeoSat programs for development. He was involved in the indigenous development of TWT amplifier, which is a very challenging task. And he has significantly contributed in an electronic power conditioner during his tenure. Shri B.D. Mehta is also in our editorial board of this thing news of news bulletin. Now I invite Shri B.D. Mehta to address about this thing ISIE. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jain sir. This is a very good event actually we are conducting, and it is already possible through various supporters. One of that is the ISI. Today, I think I will give you some brief introduction about the ISI and its activity and what the ISI is doing. So I'll just try my presentation. Please stand by. Is it okay? I think everybody can see this.
Yeah. It's okay, Mehta.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay. As it is already mentioned that ISIE, that is the Indian Space Industry Exhibitor. It is registered at Ghaziabad, Ahmedabad. Plenty of activities being done through ISI. all the lecture series, the awareness of the space activity in the society, to the students, to the technocrats. This has become a very useful media, or you can say partner for doing such activity throughout the India. If I'll give a brief info about ISI, it's a micro venture under MSME registered at the New Delhi. It was registered as an educational company in June 2018. It's an initiative by Sri A.C. Mathur. He is a very well-known personality, and he is an IIT Roorkee alumni, as well as retired group director of Assoc ISRO. It has a registered office at the Ahmedabad and a working office at the Ghaziabad. If I'll give some brief information about A.C. Mathur, as such, everybody knows Mr. Mathur very well. He is did PE and the Masters in Mechanical Engineering in 1977 from the IIT Roorkee. Then he joined SAC ISRO in Ahmedabad in 1978, retired on the superannuation in year 2017. And hence onward, he has started this activity. He is also a life member of ASI, SSME, ISRS, and IE. He is founder, secretary, and the ex-president of SSME. Currently, he is a president of also IIT Roorkee Alumni Association at Ahmedabad chapter, and actively he is delivering invited talks in the school, colleges, and conferences about the space applications for the common man and the challenges for the young engineers. The vision of ISI, if I'll give you brief, it is the main vision to spread the awareness about the tremendous applications of the space science and technology among the young school and college students, along with the common man of the India through these popular lectures, awareness, seminars, the exhibitions, etc. The honorary advisory board, I'll just give a brief info for them. Sri Vikas Palsule, he is the ex-director DECU ISRO. Sri Vikram Desai, also a ex-director DECU ISRO. Sri A.M. Jha, he is the ex-deputy director of SAC ISRO. Mr. Sri Arun Saxena ji, ex-ED and the GM in the Indian Railway. And Sri S. Velachami is an ex-head HRD from the ONGC. The activities conducted by the ISI is to make the awareness seminars, national seminar and conferences, short-term courses, space science galleries, skill development programs, and the Space News magazine. He is one of the activity which is very lacking in India. As such, we have no such a space-related exclusive magazine or the information. So it has been started, this Antariksh Udyog, which is we have started in 2020 in August, a platform for sharing info by academic, R&D, and the industries. Activity now we have already carried out during this 2018 to 2020. If I'll give you some brief on it, we have already conducted the composite materials and applications in the space at the Atira, Ahmedabad in June 2019. We have established a space science gallery also at Ghaziabad on October 4, 2019 to give the awareness, information, and popularity of science and technology, particularly the space related activity. So this space gallery is already started and people are so much interested and they are regularly visiting and get this update news about the space science. The two-day national seminar on the inflatable materials and the structures and their application in space we have carried out at IIT Roorkee on 7 and 8 October of 2019. And one-day seminar on applications on satellite remote sensing for the common man. We have already carried out at the IE Delhi State Center on November 13, 2019. Another activity, if I mention, online awareness lecture series on the composite materials and the application in space held in July 2020. The awareness lecture series on the satellite communication and its applications, August the Common Man, that is on February 2020. Online popular talk on Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's birthday on 12th August It is on future space, our future. It's already given by Professor Pramod Kale, and more than 450 persons already attended this lecture series. The awareness lecture series on the space materials, again, we have conducted in September 2020, jointly with the Shivnadar University of Greater Noida. Popular talks on the space applications for the common man. Others jointly with the Space Geeks, Mumbai during the World Space Week in October 2020. And the awareness lecture series on the 3D printing and its applications in engineering, also conducted on December 11 to 13 in 2020. Now we already in this current year also we have conducted some of the activity. The online awareness lecture series on the satellite navigation, NAVIC, and the applications for common man, that is held in February 21. The 5 popular talks on the National Science Day on February 28, 2021. The speakers in the Science Day celebrations are as follows: Dr. Arvind Ranade, Professor Pramod Kale, Dr. S.M. Bhandariji, Dr. N.M. Ashok, and Dr. Hariom Vats from the different organizations, and they have given different topics to popularize the National Science Day to the general public. Now we also have a collaborative program, the academic like IIT Roorkee, Shivnadar University, R&D organization like Atira Ahmedabad, NGOs like Space Geeks Mumbai, professional association like SSME, IEI, DSC, ISRS, IMSA, and ISG. The future activity also we have some outline to conduct the short-term courses on the fabrication of satellite earth station antenna, short-term course on the composite materials technology, and short-term course on SATCOM earth stations. Future activities and the awareness seminar also we will try to conduct on space thermal systems with the Nirma University, seminar on habitats and the mining on the moon. A team of civil engineers and architects has already started working, and seminar on space education for school teachers and the students. So common man and the almost all people on the different society have an awareness and the information regarding this. And the seminar on the applications of space science and the technology for the common man. The plan for mobile space science exhibition is also being thought of, and we have created a team for organizing exhibition in the schools and the society for various towns and the villages of NCR, the National Capital Region, and other parts of the country also. The broad topics we just try to cover for the activities in this field. It is for remote sensing and satellite communications, space materials, composite, lightweight, stiff and smart material, etc. The advanced manufacturing and design techniques, additive manufacturing, repeat printing, 3D printing, etc. The development of Indian industries for the space software and hardware. The faculty and the trainers, we have the retired and working ISRO scientists, engineers, experts from the industry and academic institutions, and they can provide best help in planning and execution of events. They can also deliver invited talks on the various subjects. As I have already mentioned previously, there are plenty of industries and academic institution experts has given their expert views on the different topics. On the academic institution and professional institution can help by providing their auditoriums and other logistic support to ISI for organizing such events. They can become the joint organizer also to have the activities in various parts of India. Space Science Gallery, as I have mentioned, that we have already started at the Ghaziabad, and it is a permanent space exhibition. It is named as the Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri Space Science Gallery, and started in Mr. Mathur's own flat at the Gaur Homes, Govindapuram, Ghaziabad on 4th October 2019. Posters related with the space basics and the applications are already displayed there, and the students and the local residents have started visiting on weekends as well as in weekdays too. That information of about the gallery, it has already been published in the media. So these are one of the clippings that already highlight about this activity of the space gallery. Now, the space gallery also can be expanded, and so we have some future work to be incorporated, like the models of satellites and rockets to be added, posters and the flags banners to be printed, the books on space topics in Hindi to be added, and the scientific works to be organized. The latest activity we have already conducted in the ISI, that is the publication of a magazine highlighting the work carried out mainly by the following. It is the research activities by academic institutions, products developed by the Indian government, private industry in the field of space. The first issue of the Antariksh Udyog, the space magazine, we named it as the Antariksh Udyog. This magazine was released on the 13th August 2020 by Sri Professor Pramod Kaleji. He is ex-director SAC ISRO Ahmedabad. The second issue of this Antariksh Udyog magazine was released on 11th December 2020 by Sri Vinod Joshi, is the Associate Director at ISRO headquarters Bangalore. And the third issue on the 6th February 2021, we have released by Sri Nilesh Desai, the current Director of SAC ISRO. The editorial board for the space magazine Antariksh Udyog, Sri B.D. Mehta is retired HOD SAC ISRO. Then Sri D. Subramaniamji, retired Deputy Director SAC. Sri Dr. S.M. Bhandari, retired scientist at SAC ISRO. Sri A.C. Mathurji, retired Group Director SAC ISRO. Sri K.B. Balsurji, retired scientist at SAC ISRO. And Sri Sanjeev Kanda, he is a consultant for this magazine. Dr. M. Shivaraman is retired scientist SAC ISRO, and Sri Vinod Srivastavaji, retired range officer at SDSC. These are the first page of the three issues of the Antariksh Udyog. The first one is related to Sri Vikram Sarabhai and its lifespan. And second one is the especially for the small satellites market, which is update as a cover story on the second issue. The third one is already considering the future activity as a cover story on orbit satellite servicing and refueling. The third one, very recently, we are introducing the fourth issue very recently. Other than this, we have already started publishing the magazines on books related on the space activity. Recently, Dr. Sri S.C. Mathurji has already written one book, The First in Space, which is already been published and highly appreciated by the industry and the fraternity. So many books has been already published, given to the various people in the industry, and it is available to the general public also. If you any information we need any further detail, the Indian space industry exhibitors can be contacted through Mr. A.C. Mathur. The number and the email address was already been given here. Thank you very much. This is the very brief information about the ISI. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehta. Yeah, Mehta, thank you very much, Mehtaji, for telling about the Indian space industry's exhibitors. This exhibitors is doing a lot of commendable work in this field of to spread the awareness to the wide spectrum of the student, right from school levels to the researchers, PhD and postdoctoral fellows. So we are helping, this industry is helping, and I admire and welcome all the contributors of the different fields, science field, the different industries, laboratories like PRL, ISROs, those who are contributing and providing the support and talk and sharing their knowledge with the students. A really admirable and commendable work. The histories, ISIE is very dynamic and active and helping not students also, but also solving the ISRO's problems also, connecting the with the leading scientists also. So I request every participant, students, whosoever have any doubt or any issues, kindly post your mail to us, and our team will try to help and resolve the issues, to educate you, to help to improve your knowledge, or to resolve your queries to the possible extent. Now the next presentation is by Mr. Shivam Singh, student of Electronics and Communication of third year, MMM, MMTU Gorakhpur. He will give his presentation on International Day of Human Space Flight. This is one of the good work of Shri A.C. Mathur. This students met him in some material presentation, and from that, Mr. Mathur wants to be elevated, to elevate him on any ISRO related, because his dream is very good. He want to reach on the highest height of the space sciences. So I request Mr. Mathur, kindly say a few words and explain how you have interacted and how he has risen to this issue.
Yeah, thank you, Jain Sahab. In fact, in 2019, in the month of March, Madan Mohan Malviya Technical University, they organized one seminar on future in mechanical engineering. They invited me for a talk on space mechanical engineering. So during that time, I interacted Mr. Shivam Singh at that university. And that time itself, he has shown a lot of interest in space-related activities. He had a lot of dreams and wanted to become a space scientist. And the faculty at Madan Mohan Malviya Technical University, especially electronics department and mechanical engineering department, along with their director, who was from IIT Kanpur, they showed a lot of interest. They wanted to start activities at Gorakhpur. But till today, they could not do anything. And Shivam Singh continuously, he is also following from his side, his faculty members there, and I am also pursuing them. Then to start some activities. But finally, I seen the Shivam Singh is very much interested in these type of activities. That is why I gave him a chance to make a presentation on this particular topic. And he did his schooling basically in Uttar Pradesh. And after that, he joined engineering at same university, Madan Mohan Malviya Technical University. He is a third year E&C student. And he has been involved in the Artemis program under NASA STEM. So still now he is doing a lot of interaction with the NASA and other space agencies. He has attended a very short-term courses. One which he has attended was on human space flight. Then he has attended a course on astronomy. This is other than his regular education, engineering education. Because of his own interest, he attend so many courses. Then he has attended a course on embedded system design. Then he has done a project in his college itself on drones. So then he has done one project on solar gardens and on aircraft design also, all because of his interest. He has done so many projects. He is an active member in IEEE. It is an international association, already in the field of electronics and electrical engineering. And he has a lot of interest in moon and Mars exploration, astronomy, etc. And he has also started a WhatsApp group on small satellites. The last 2 years, this group is active. I think around 45 students from different colleges in UP and other states, they are member of this group, and they keep on discussing about the small satellites. So Gorakhpur people also, they have requested that let us organize one course on small satellites at their university. They will support. So without taking much time, definitely I would like to help students like Shivam Singh and those who have got so much interest in space science and technology. And with all best wishes to him, let us hope that he joins his third year training and some of the ISRO centers and become a space scientist. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Shivam Singh, you can now start your presentation. As per your
Yes.
content, you can explain in your mother tongue or English, whatever you, the way you feel. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Sir, my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन एंड स्वागत है आप सभी का इस ऑनलाइन टॉक में. माय नेम इज शिवम सिंह, स्पेस इंथुसियास्ट एंड बीटेक थर्ड ईयर स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम मदन मनमाली यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी गोरखपुर. फर्स्टली आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक रिस्पेक्टेड अनिल माथुर सर जिन्होंने मुझे इस ऑनलाइन टॉक में हिस्सा बोलने का मौका दिया और उन्होंने अपने इस इंडियन स्पेस इंडस्ट्री एग्जीबिटर्स में पार्टिसिपेट करने का मौका दिया. एंड सर से मैंने 2 साल पहले मुलाकात हुई थी हमारे कॉलेज में, जब उन्होंने रॉकेट और सैटेलाइट्स में मटेरियल्स का यूज और उसके प्रॉपर्टीज के बारे में बताया था. तो उस समय मैं अनजान था इन सब चीज़ों से. उसके बाद उस दिन के बाद से मुझे इस फील्ड में काफ़ी इंटरेस्ट आने लगा. फिर मैंने सर से काफ़ी इंटरेक्ट किया, काफ़ी बातें की, सर ने काफ़ी मोटिवेट किया. और मैं यही सोचता हूँ कि हमेशा कि उस समय मैं एक बीज था, लेकिन सर के हेल्प से मैं आज अभी तक पौधा बन चुका हूँ. So thank you very much, sir. And now we move to our presentation. Today, the 12th April 2021, and before 60 years back, first manned space flight was happened. So we are celebrating the dawn of new era in space, that is International Day of Human Space Flight. And the objective of celebrating this day, the 65 sessions of United Nations General Assembly 7 अप्रैल को ही उन्होंने डिक्लेयर कर दिया था 2011 में कि 12 अप्रैल से इंटरनेशनल डे ऑफ ह्यूमन स्पेस फ्लाइट सेलिब्रेट किया जाएगा. इस दिन पूरे विश्व में स्पेस से रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज को प्रमोट किया जाता है, लाइक फोटो एग्जिबिट्स, स्पेस से रिलेटेड कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, वेबिनार्स, showcasing technology for space travel, commemorative stamps, quizzes, all are happening in this day through various events. International Day of Human Space Flights recognized. Why this 12th April was recognized as International Day of Human Space Flight? On 12th April is the anniversary of first human space flight by Yuri Gagarin in 1961. In 1963, 12th April was also commemorated as Cosmonautic Day in Soviet Union. Yuri Night, World Space Party also known, is also celebrated in United States from 2001 on the 40th anniversary of Gagarin's flight. 12th April was also the date of first space shuttle launch. And this is the face of the man who changes the thinking of the space. That is the Yuri Gagarin. It was the Russian pilot and cosmonaut who became the first human to journey into the outer space. ये पहली बार इन्होंने जब आकाश में ट्रेवल किया होगा तो इन्हें कैसा लगा होगा, मैं तो यही सोचता रहता हूँ. And for this he was awarded the hero of Soviet Union, his nation highest honors. And his flight is he orbit around the Earth over 108 minutes, means. एंड इनके स्पेसक्राफ्ट का नाम वोस्टक 3 के स्पेसक्राफ्ट था और इनके लॉन्च व्हीकल का नाम वोस्टक के, और इनके स्पेसक्राफ्ट की स्पीड 27,400 किलोमीटर पर आवर थी अर्थ के अराउंड. एंड इनका लैंडिंग काफी डिफरेंट था बाकी एस्ट्रोनॉट के, एज ही इजेक्ट फ्रॉम द कैप्सूल and landed by the parachute. मतलब उन्होंने पैराशूट से लैंड किया था. And this is the photograph of the Baikonur drone where the Yuri Gagarin lift off, and it is the world first and operational space launch facility. And one film is also shoot about his Yuri Gagarin journey in space. that is first orbit filled. And all over the world, many statues, many places after Yuri Gagarin have been named. And one of them is the statue that is from Saratova, Russia. And we move to the history of human achievements in outer space. In 1957, 5 October, first man-made Earth satellite Sputnik was launched in the outer space. And I, before this, also tried many times to go into the space. Many tried. And after these 4 years, Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space go to the Earth. And just after 2 years, Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman to orbit the Earth. औरतें भी पीछे नहीं थी हमसे का 2 साल बाद ही ने औरत ने वेलेंटिना टेस्को नाम की औरत ने ऑर्बिट में रिवॉल्व किया था. And in 1969, you all everyone know that Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the surface of the moon. And since 1961 to till now, progress has been made. We have been to the moon, built an orbital laboratory, that is International Space Station, and sent probes to the distant corner of the solar system. But we look for the Mars and beyond. That is the Artemis program of the NASA next mission. In this, we have many challenges like air to breathe, water to drink, soil to plants, and as we are Indians, we also the Indian contribution in space. The first name, जब हम बच्चे थे तो हमारे घर वाले पूछा करते थे कि पहला अपने देश से इंडिया से कौन पहला आकाश स्पेस में ट्रेवल किया था, तो यही जवाब था राकेश शर्मा. जी हाँ, विंग कमांडर राकेश शर्मा इज आल्सो द इंडियन एयरफोर्स पायलट एंड ही इज द फर्स्ट एंड ओनली इंडियन सिटीजन टू ट्रेवल इन स्पेस. मतलब आज तक इंडियन सिटीजन से सिर्फ यही है जो स्पेस में ट्रेवल किए हैं. अदर भी एस्ट्रोनॉट्स हैं लेकिन वो इंडियन बैकग्राउंड के, नॉट एज इंडियन सिटीजन. He was selected as cosmonaut for the space mission jointly by the ISRO and Soviet Intercosmos Space Program. Under this program, he flew in 1984 and he spent 7 days, 21 hours and 40 minutes in space. लगभग 8 दिनों तक वो स्पेस में रहे. एंड जब वो स्पेस में ट्रेवल कर रहे थे तो हमारी प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी ने उनसे कम्युनिकेट किया और उनसे पूछा कि आपको हमारा देश इंडिया कैसा दिखता है स्पेस से. तो उन्होंने बहुत प्यार से कहा, सारे जहां से अच्छा, बेटर देन द होल वर्ल्ड. दिस लाइन टच मी अ लॉट. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज कल्पना चावला. He is the first woman of Indian origin to go to space. He received a degree in aeronautical engineering from पंजाब इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज. मतलब वो इंडिया से ही पढ़ी हुई थी और उसके बाद मास्टर और पीएचडी उन्होंने यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स से किया. 1994 में उन्होंने नासा ने उन्हें एज एस्ट्रोनॉट सेलेक्ट कर लिया था और उनकी फर्स्ट फ्लाइट 1997 में हुई एज ए मिशन स्पेशलिस्ट एंड प्राइमरी रोबोटिक आर्म ऑपरेटर. But 2003 is the day when the mission they come from the space and when he entered the Earth atmosphere, his spacecraft is any problem that is what happened, I don't know. And all the 7 crew members died along with him. And but he is in the every hearts of the Indian and she is regarded as the national hero of India. Next is Sunita Williams, is also the Indian origin who formerly held his record for the most spacewalk by a woman and most spacewalk time for a woman, that is 50 hours 40 minutes. लगभग 2 दिन से ज़्यादा ही. He is also the member of International Space Station. And this is the new name for all. Raja John Purputurchari. मीन्स शॉर्ट फॉर्म में राजाचारी ने कहा जाता है। 2017 में इन्हें सेलेक्ट कर लिया था नासा ने ग्रुप 22 एंड in December 22 when in India or over all the world everyone is the lockdown, Chari was selected as the part of Artemis team. Artemis team is the NASA next lunar mission, including the first woman and next man to walk on the surface of the moon in 2024. And on the same month, he became the first astronaut from the Group 22 to be the selected as space mission, and which will command the SpaceX mission. Everyone knows SpaceX, Elon Musk. And with his name in the list, Ravichari has become the third Indian American to go to the space. Beside them, Rakesh Sharma remains the only citizen to have been in the space. And as we are the Indians, we are also not back very much. We are preparing the next manned mission, that is Gaganyaan. A team of 4 Indian Air Force pilots have been undergoing training in Russia at the training center, Russia Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center. In this, 3 of them go into the space and orbit around the Earth for a week and conduct experiments in the microgravity and bioscience. And last, I would like to conclude that I also decided that my future life is a contribute in the human space exploration program from India. And wishing everyone a happy International Day of Human Space Flight. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Shivam. And I hope your dreams will realize soon. And really, as a commendable work, Mathur, you did it. You have up एक नए मतलब फ्यूचरिस्टिक स्पेस साइंटिस्ट को खोज रहे हैं, जिसका कि मतलब आई थिंक आई डोंट नो व्हाट हाइट ही विल रीच इट. ही हैज लॉट ऑफ ड्रीम्स. So soon, I think his dreams will also be realized if our forum support him. And it's a good, at least we could invent such a nice persons with innovation, with ideas, and involving in these activities. Before starting our chief guest talk, Dr. Guruprasad ji, I invite Shri A.C. Mathur to deliver his biodata. And Sri Mathur is a retired group director from Space Application Center, ISRO, Ahmedabad. He has been a vice president of SSME and many other society. He's a professional society. He's attached ISRS, ASIs, and I appreciate him with such a small time, and with he's providing honorary services to the space scientists also, for the ISRO also, and to the students of the wide spectrum from right from the school level to the researchers. So I request Sri Mathur Sahab to introduce about Dr. Guruprasad ji, who is our chief guest today, and he will deliver the popular talks whom we are awaiting. Now request Mr. Mathur, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jain Saab, for a nice introduction about me. I think we are already getting late. A lot of time has passed, and Guruprasad ji is very anxiously waiting. And thank you very much, Jain Saab, for giving me an opportunity to introduce my own colleague from ISRO, Dr. B.R. Guruprasad. And he has got a very rich and long biodata. And many of the things from his biodata you have already covered. But still, I will try to tell the remaining things about him. If I read the total biodata, it will take another half an hour or so, but I will cut short and tell in brief to our participants. So Dr. Guruprasad, he did his graduation in science and post-graduation in communication and journalism. And when he was in ISRO, he did his PhD from Mysore University. And he worked in ISRO for more than 37 years and retired in May 2020. That is during the lockdown time. He got retired as Associate Director from ISRO headquarters, Bangalore. He is a basically satellite person, and he has worked in more than 25 satellites project in the mission planning, analysis, and operations. He has also worked in DLR, which is in West Germany. I think most of you may be knowing, and he has also worked in NASA. He was sent officially there. And he is basically, that part you may not be knowing, he is a very renowned space science communicator. You may be knowing so many science communicators in India, but he is one of them who is specialized in space science communicator. And that I was listening from many people. I never get a chance to listen to him. So today I think that I will get a chance. He is also involved in the space education field, and he was invited to Japan and France related with space education things, and more than 500 articles. He is basically from Karnataka, and has got very good command in Kannada language and English language both. But he speaks Hindi also very well. I met him 2 years back. And more than 500 articles in English and Kannada he has written for the various newspapers and magazines. And he has also written 12 number of books on astronomy. And one of the book which he has written is translated into 11 Indian languages, and one of them is Sanskrit. You will find very few books, technical books in the Sanskrit language. And he's also very popular on All India Radio and TV channels. He has given a large number of interviews on All India Radio, Doordarshan, and various TV channels, and many programs related with space science. And he's, I think, delivered more than 500 lectures in various engineering colleges and institutions. And he has also conducted workshops on rockets for the students. And he has organized more than 150 quiz programs. And he has got a lot of interaction with the students, school students, engineering students all over the country. And as Jain initially told, he has already told the names of more than 16 countries he has visited, widely traveled man in the world. And he is, after retirement, he is settled in Bangalore. So I will not take much time. Let us give chance to Dr. B.R. Guruprasad. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir.
Welcome,
So,
Guruprasad ji. I request for your speech, and really we are lucky that you are speaking for us. You are the right and appropriate person who is delivering talk on this into your international exposures and being in ISRO also. Welcome, sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning to all of you, sir. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with all my very seniors at Space Applications Center, Jain Saab, Mathur Saab, and many people. And I had one presentation, and the gentleman who has developed traveling wave tube amplifiers. Many people do not know the significance of tweeters. Okay, how important it is. If we get high power signals from the satellite in the microwave region, the way in which they have to be amplified, yes, that is very important. So that is what many of us in ISRO, we did work which was of much significance for the country. But you know, the
Thank
things
you, sir.
not come out easily. Oh, okay, all said and done. Anyway, I was very, very fortunate enough to be associated with, except for Professor Satish Dhawan, for whom I have enormous respect. Just if I were to tell a joke, when I joined Indian Institute of Science, Professor Dhawan was the director there, and he retired from there. When I joined ISRO, he retired from ISRO also. So after that, I have worked with Professor Rao, Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir. He is my mentor for my PhD also. And I don't know how much to thank Dr. Kasturi Rangan sir. And I have worked with Madhavan Nair sir, Radhakrishnan sir, and Kiran Kumar sir, and Dr. Shivan sir just now. So I have been very fortunate enough to get exposed to many of the works in ISRO. And for the past 4 decades, I've been a popular science writer and broadcaster. And it gives me immense pleasure. By profession, yes, I am a scientist and a public relations professional. But on the other hand, by nature, I'm a science communicator. So anyway, that is about me. And thanks to all of you, sir, my seniors, and Mathur Saab especially for inviting me. And E.K. Kuti Saab also played an important role in this. I thank him too. He may not be there here now. But anyway, all said and done. Before I start anything, let me say that Mr. Shivam Singh has made my job easy. He has told almost all the things which I wanted to say. I don't know what to do. Now I'm jobless. Okay. So all said and done. Anyway, it's a very, very, very exciting field indeed. Human space. Space flight itself is very exciting. And human space flight is still exciting, much more, especially. So this is the way. And without wasting much time, I'm going to share the screen now. And let me start my lecture. And what a privilege for me. Exactly 50 years to this day. See, now my watch is showing around 11:23 or something, or 11:22. Gagarin, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin, had been strapped on to his Vostok 1 capsule in Baikonur, which was in Soviet Kazakhstan at that time, and he was waiting for his launch, which took place at 11:37 a.m. in about 10 minutes. We will approach that time. That was the time when Yuri Gagarin, 11:37 as per the Indian Standard Time, I'm telling. That's why I said we are fast approaching that time. And Gagarin 50 years back, exactly to this day, Gagarin was so excited, really, and he was awaiting his launch, sitting in a Vostok 1 spacecraft, which in turn was sitting on top of a 12 or 13-story high Vostok rocket. Now let me go to the PowerPoint presentation directly, and in this, I'll share this, and I hope you are seeing this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 minute. Okay, now it has come to the presentation mode. So the topic of my talk today is humans in space, achievements and prospects. Yes, exactly 50 years back, the age-old dream of humans to travel to space was realized. Okay. After that, in the past 6 decades, I'm sorry, exactly 6 decades back, it was realized. I'm sorry, I said 5 decades. It was 6 decades. 6 decades back, it was realized. And after that, in the past 6 decades, there have been phenomenal developments, okay, from the point of view of technology, but still much needs to be done. And as far as achievements are concerned, yes, when the human spaceflight began during the Cold War era, there was a blank check for everything. United States as well as the former Soviet Union, they spent enormous amount of money on that. But today's world, already we are facing corona so much. Not even a single country is spared of this. And many other things, climate change is there, many other things, conflicts in many parts of the world. They actually have made the world a little bit withdrawn. Okay, there is not much time as it was in the past to think about human space flight to Mars or space flight as such. But that doesn't mean space flight is not happening. That too, human space flight is not happening. It is not like that. Even today, at this moment of time, in the International Space Station, which is circling the Earth at a height of 400 kilometers, not 1 or 2, 10 astronauts and cosmonauts are staying there. Okay, anyway, I'll come to that. Let me go to the first slide. Exactly, this was the Vostok rocket, which lifted off at 11:37 a.m. Indian Standard Time on April 12th, 1961. I was not even born at that time. Okay, so 60 years back, that is, let me correct if I have done 5 decades, I told earlier, I'm extremely sorry, 6 decades back, this event, this momentous event in the history of humankind happened. Okay, this rocket, it was, as I told you, it was 12 or 13 stories high, and it was standing like a rock on its launch pad in Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. And within about 10 to 12 minutes, it achieved a tremendous speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. In our roads in India, average speed is around 30 kilometers per hour. Average speed is 30 kilometers per hour because of many things, traffic and other things. But imagine 1,000 times of that speed was achieved by Yuri Gagarin in about 10 minutes. That is the essential speed or velocity which one has to achieve if one has to circle or orbit the earth or go around the earth, even in an orbit which is 200 kilometers high. That is the way it is. So this was Yuri Gagarin, a pilot from the Soviet Air Force who was a commoner. He was 28-year-old, and he was selected for this purpose to become the first human space traveler. Okay, once he was put into orbit, he circled the Earth, or he orbited the Earth in 108 minutes only, 1 hour 48 minutes. Believe me, all of us have heard the name Ferdinand Magellan. We say Magellan, Americans say Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan was a Portuguese navigator who was in the service of Spain in 1519 AD. 5 ships sailed under his command, and he tried to circumnavigate the world. Okay, he tried to circumnavigate the world, that is, circle the earth as such. Oh, but he was killed on the way in what is today Philippines. But one of the 5 ships which was under his command went back to Spain 3 years later. 1519 it started, 1522, 3 years, 1 month. 3 years, 1 month. That was the time required for the ship to go around the earth once. But Gagarin accomplished this once in 108 minutes. What is the speed with which, phenomenal speed with which he was circling the earth? We have to, and this ushered in the era of human space flight. Okay, space age began much earlier, about 4 years earlier it had begun, but this was the dawn of the human space flight era. And look at this. This is on April 9th of this year, just 3 days back. A rocket was launched. A Soyuz rocket was launched. This is almost looks like the rocket which launched Yuri Gagarin, and the spacecraft, which is a Soyuz spacecraft, was named as Yuri Gagarin. And 3 space travelers, 2 of them were Russian, 1 American, went up and linked with the International Space Station. And totally 10 people are traveling around the Earth there at this moment of time. And let me tell you one thing: humans are different compared to any other life forms which we know today on the Earth, because humans are conscious of the world in which they live. They are capable of thinking. Exploration is in their blood. It is ingrained in their psyche. Okay. And humans, from time immemorial, they have looked up at the night sky, wondered, what are these planets? What is sun? What is moon? What are planets? What are stars? What are comets? What are other satellites? Okay, what are galaxies? Okay, when did this universe come into picture? What is its present status? And how it's going to end? Are there any intelligent beings in the universe? These are some of the questions which are haunting humans even today. So, inquisitiveness is part and parcel of human nature, and exploratory zeal accompanies it. That is why humans have explored space. If you look at the mythology, Greek mythology, if you were to see, there was a person here. His name is Daedalus, and his son Icarus. Okay, they wanted to escape from a Greek island and Crete. From there, they wanted to escape. So this father, feathers he took, and with the help of wax, he strapped them to his body, and warned his son not to go too much near the sun. But anyway, that guy, being a teenager, he went there. But anyway, he fell down. So goes this story. Okay, what I want to say is such stories are there even in our Puranas. What I mean to say is urge to explore, the urge to travel to space is part and parcel of human nature, I would say. But what was different was people thought that air extends from Earth to the sun. That is how you can go and fly like a bird, which is not possible. And in the 19th century, there was a great science fiction writer by name Jules Verne. Okay, he wrote From the Earth to the Moon. That was a science fiction in which he remarkably predicted that the spaceship took off, a projectile like this containing human beings took off from Florida. Okay, look at that. Even Neil Armstrong took off from Florida only on his way to moon. But anyway, the acceleration with which this spacecraft went up, if anybody were to be there, they would have been crushed to death once for all. You cannot accelerate the way you like. Okay, that is one of the basic things in the human space flight. The oxygen is the acceleration has to be gradual, I would say. Now, not even cartoon writers have left space flight. See, the thing is, many of us during our school days or even college days, we might have enjoyed Tintin comics. Look at that, explorers on the moon. Very nicely, this was penned by one Belgian cartoonist by pen name was Hergé. Okay, very nicely. So literature also is replete. Okay, it is rich with instances of human space flight. After all, moon is in space, so we can take it as part of space. Now, let us say, what is space? Where does the space begin? Space is the region which is outside the Earth's atmosphere. But where does Earth's atmosphere end? Where does the space begin? Is it like Wagah border kind of thing? No, it is not like that. As you ascend higher and higher, the air density goes on decreasing. But by international agreement, it has been said that space begins at an altitude of 100 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. You can see the Earth's atmosphere, hazy Earth's atmosphere here, and the moon. That's why I'm showing. Earth's atmosphere itself has many layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere, like that. But anyway, space begins by international agreement. It is agreed that it begins at 100 kilometers altitude. There is a line called Kármán line, which separates Earth's atmosphere from space. And space is a horrible place. It is not for human beings to lie in pants and shirts like this outside the spacecraft. Because, you know, we say already in Bangalore itself, we are grumbling. It is summer and all those things. 37 degrees. We cannot tolerate this, that we are telling. But in space, if you are orbiting the Earth, okay, if you are on the side of the sun, that is the day side, your temperature may be plus 100. You immediately go to the night side, it will plummet to minus 100. And very, very harmful electromagnetic radiations like X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic rays are there. Subatomic particles are there. And everywhere, I mean, in your spacecraft, you will be weightless. Of course, your spacecraft protects you from cosmic rays and other radiations, subatomic particles, temperature, everything. But weightlessness, you can't help. You will be floating in space as though you are floating, you are in water kind of thing. Okay, so that is a bizarre sensation. So space is not for human beings to live as we live on the surface of the Earth. You have to create an artificial ambience to live there. Okay, now I'm showing a picture of a beautiful liftoff of our GSLV. In no way it is related to human spaceflight. Why I'm showing this, one of the best liftoff pictures of GSLV. Why I'm showing is today and in the past 60 years, we know only one device, one vehicle, one technology which is capable of reaching space. That is rocket. A rocket is a propulsive mechanism. A rocket is a technological device. A rocket is a vehicle. Okay. Before rockets were perfected, man, that is humans, dreamt of space flight, but they could not do anything. Only about 60 years back, 60 to 70 years back, the large rockets were built. And just I want to show you how beautiful the rocket launch is, because all others are still slides. This I'll show you how a rocket, this is a rocket which is similar to Yuri Gagarin's rocket 60 years back. Just I'll show you for about 30 seconds. This is a Russian rocket from, look at that. Look at that, how the rocket tilts. So nice, really. At this stage, 32 engines are firing in that rocket, 32 engines. Look at that, the way in which it is accelerating. So this is the way acceleration is gradual, so that human beings are not adversely affected. It is not like Jules Verne's rocket, which went up just like that. No, it is not like that. Okay, this is the way the rocket just 3 days back, this kind of rocket took off from lifted off from Baikonur, and it is in International Space Station. You can see how comfortably they are sitting inside. Let us go to the next slide. Okay, excuse me. Space age was born on, it dawned on October 4th, 1957, when a tiny competitor to moon called Sputnik 1 was launched. It was the world's first artificial satellite. When it went up in a rocket and started revolving around the Earth, the space age was born. That was on October 4th, 1957. Then, once they perfected the rockets, humans did not go to space immediately, because they were not sure whether they would live there in space. When they achieve such tremendous speeds, 28,000 kilometers per hour, whether human system is capable of withstanding it, and whether human system is capable of withstanding weightlessness. Will they go mad? Will they vomit continuously? Will they be able to eat in space? Will they be able to do their daily activities in space, like elimination of body waste, using a bathroom? Nobody was sure about it. So first, humans are very clever. They sent animals first. This was dog Laika. 1 month after the launch of Sputnik 1, this was launched to space. There was no plan to recover it, but unfortunately, due to temperature increase, it died within a few hours of its launch, unfortunately. But anyway, humans came to know that yes, you can withstand very high G forces during liftoff, as well as weightlessness in space. Then Americans launched many chimps. Okay, this is called HAM from Halomon Air Force Base. That is why this chimp was called as HAM. Of course, this is more related to humans than dogs, in fact. So they were also launched, and humans made sure that they would survive space flight, and then only they went to space. Anyway, I'm showing Yuri Gagarin there. Once again, you can see, and next to him is Herman Tito, who was the second man in space, who was his backup. April 12th, 1961, 6 decades back exactly. Then, of course, once Yuri Gagarin went to space, the space race between the United States and the former Soviet Union more intensified. It intensified more. Okay, further intensified. And USA could not withstand the achievements of the Soviet Union, which was its bitter rival during the Cold War. Then, of course, as if to affect the United States more, the first woman to go to space, Valentina Tereshkova, was also a Soviet citizen. Then the first man to walk in space, Alexei Leonov. There is nothing to walk in space. You have to float in space. They still call it a spacewalk. He was also a Russian. So the pride of the United States suffer a lot during the Cold War era. Anyway, Americans launched their first astronaut to space, not to orbit around the Earth. Just they launched him to space on May 5th, 1961. Okay, after Yuri Gagarin was launched on May 5th, they launched him. Okay, after that, John F. Kennedy was the president of the United States at that time. He could not withstand the Soviet successes, and anyway, people advised him, and United States took a decision to send a man to the moon and to bring him back safely by 1970. He said, I believe that this nation must commit itself of achieving the goal before this decade is out, that is 60s decade, of landing a man on the moon and bringing him back safely. He said in this speech, "We choose to go to the moon." That is the Kennedy's words. Then, okay, the spacecraft in which the first US astronauts went, it was very small. Then to make the methods workable of of visiting the moon, they designed another spacecraft called Gemini, where 2 astronauts could able to go, and they perfected many methods which were essential for lunar spaceflight. And of course, on July 21st, 1969, at 8:29 a.m., Neil Armstrong became the first man on the moon. Okay, what did he say? That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. My dear friends, moon is at a distance of 384,000 kilometers on the average from the Earth. It takes minimum about 3 days to go to the moon. Neil Armstrong also did the same. One day, less than a day, they spent there and they came back. Within a week, they could able to go to moon and come back. Believe me, 12 people have walked on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin in 11, 12, 13 could not go, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, after 1972, the last man on the moon, Eugene Cernan, nobody has gone to the moon. But believe me, 12 people have definitely walked on the moon. This walking on the moon or the visit to the moon was a product of the Cold War, when a lot of money was spent by the United States as well as the Soviet Union, which is not the case today. That is why spaceflight is not progressing as it was during the Cold War era. Excuse me. Next, what happened? The Soviet Union it could not send its cosmonauts to the moon before the Americans sent their astronauts. Why? There were many reasons. One was related to the leadership. The father of the Soviet space program, Sergei Korolev, he died. Another thing is they could never perfect a rocket which was capable of sending their cosmonauts to the moon. It failed repeatedly. It was called as N1. But anyway, Soviet Russians, they perfected a third spacecraft in the 1960s called Soyuz. And even today they are using it. Russians, once they perfect something, once it works, they retain it for a long time, but it works. We have to remember that. This is called Soyuz spacecraft. Soyuz means union. Okay, these titles were given during the Soviet era and which Russians have retained even today. So this is a trusted space taxi which is being used. Even Rakesh Sharma went in a Soyuz spacecraft. So this is the Soyuz spacecraft. This is where the cosmonauts will sit. And this is called an orbital module. And this is called a service module. Everything goes to space, but this gets separated. These parts get separated. Only these parts comes back to Earth. So in the 1960s, the space age began. The humans traveled to space and they conquered the moon thanks to the Cold War. As the 1970s dawned, the next decade dawned, anyway, Soviet Union had somewhat, I would say, defeat is not a correct word, but anyway, it could not send its cosmonauts to the moon. They diverted their attention elsewhere. Exactly 10 years after the launch of Yuri Gagarin, okay, they launched a large spacecraft, a cylindrical spacecraft to space. They called it Salute. Salute is nothing but saluting Yuri Gagarin's flight 10 years earlier. So Salute was the world's first space station. To be more precise, Salute 1. What is a space station? A space station is a very large spacecraft which is having all the facilities for conducting research as well as making it comfortable for 2 or 3 people or even more for living in space. So that is called as a space station. A large spacecraft which has the facilities for living as well as conducting long-term research. So Salute 1, which was launched 10 years after the launch of Yuri Gagarin, was the world's first space station. And throughout the 1970s, Soviets almost dominated the human spaceflight. They launched 6 Salute series of spacecraft. And in 1976, they launched what is known as Salute 6, which had 2 docking ports. That is where 2 different spacecraft could attach. So continuously, Russians started living in space after the launch of Salute 6. So they could launch fresh cosmonauts, they can bring back the old ones. And anyway, it was permanently staffed by people. All these things happened in 1970s. Of course, the United States also launched a huge space station in 1973. It was known as Skylab. Of course, lots and lots of experiments were done in Skylab. What kind of experiments, you may ask? See, human body will react differently to space than it is on the Earth. Okay, so we have evolved in 1G environment where weight is always present, but in space there is weightlessness. How the human body will react? That was one part of research. Another thing is, can we make ultra pure crystals? Can we make ultra pure materials? Can we make ultra pure medicines, including vaccines, in space, because in the weightless environment? These are the kind of researches which are going on even today from the time of Salute and Skylab. This was the Skylab, of course. This is a very huge space station, but it became notorious because when it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere uncontrollably to a certain extent, almost uncontrollably, in 1979, I was in my physics class. My physics professor was teaching me LCR circuits. One of my friends got up and said, "Sir, please let the class off. We want to go down and hide in our houses, respective houses, because I'm scared that Skylab may fall on my head," he was telling. So that much of scare was there around the world, where it will come and fall and all those things. That is unfounded fear. Anyway, Americans were cautious and they made it to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere over the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. I mean, very isolated parts, and somewhere in Australia, probably some pieces might have fallen. Next, so 70s was the era of space stations. 60s was the era of the moon. 70s was the era of space stations, where humans started living in space for extended periods of time. Then in 1980s, Americans perfected a new space vehicle called Space Shuttle. This was a rocket plane. This entire thing is called as the Space Shuttle. But this this plane kind of thing is known as orbiter. Many people call this a Space Shuttle. But anyway, it had 2 solid rocket boosters, a huge external tank, and 3 cryogenic rocket engines. So this Americans perfected. This could carry up to 7 astronauts, and it was somewhat reusable. And Americans at that time said it makes space flight very cheap, which was not the case. And it was very difficult to make it reusable. Anyway, space flight lifted off like a rocket. It went around the Earth like a spacecraft, like a space station or Soyuz spacecraft, like that. It re-entered the Earth's atmosphere like Apollo spacecraft kind of thing, and it landed on a runway. So this was the American Space Shuttle, a unique vehicle. Till then, either the spacecraft carrying humans had landed on water or in large steppe, like a grassland kind of thing. This landed on a runway. Of course, many things were done with the help of Space Shuttle. Look at that. He is the first human satellite of the Earth. Sometime in 1984-85, his name is Bruce McCandless. For a short while, he went out of the Space Shuttle. Okay, he went away from the Space Shuttle and started floating in space with the help of a jet-powered backpack, a device. And look at that. For you and the person who has taken the picture, you feel that he's stationary. But compared to the surface of the Earth, he was traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour. That was his speed. And of course, with the help of Space Shuttle, Americans did many unthinkable things once upon a time. For example, Hubble Space Telescope, all of us know. They repaired it, they refurbished it, they brought the satellites back, which were not working. They relaunched them. Everything went well. So 1980s was the era of the space shuttle, third decade. And of course, Russians launched their seventh Salute 7, to which our Rakesh Sharma also went. Shivam also mentioned that. Rakesh Sharma went to space in a Soyuz spacecraft. I told you repeatedly, it's a space taxi. Rakesh Sharma, Yuri Malishev, and Gennady Strikalov, these three people were lifted off. They lifted off in a Soyuz spacecraft, went and joined with the Salute 7 space station. And of course, Rakesh Sharma lived in space, in Salute 7 space station for a week. Of course, he enjoyed the Indian foodstuff, including vegetable pulao, mango, and such things. And of course, he did yoga in space. And at that time only, Madam Indira Gandhi, who was our former Prime Minister, she asked, I still remember, I saw it live. I was a fresher in ISRO at that time, April 3rd, 1984. I still remember black and white TV in one of my friend's house. I had not brought TV. I had not bought TV because I wanted to buy a color TV at that time. I was waiting for that. So, ऊपर से कैसा लगता है भारत आपको? She asked. Then immediately he said, सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. Of course, all of us Indians, we know very well the significance of that song. Okay, all said and done. Anyway, Rakesh Sharma returned on April 11th in another Soyuz spacecraft. And anyway, why did he do yoga? Because I'll come to that. If you stay in space for a longer time, there are many detrimental effects. There are adverse effects on the human body and mind. That is the reason. Of course, in 1980s, the Soviet Union bounced back with a huge space station called Mir, M-I-R. Many people pronounce it as Mir. It is Mir. Mir means peace. I told you, this was still Soviet era. That is why such names you will get. And it was first time when it was launched, it was not big, but step by step, they built the space station and became a huge complex like this. Of course, it is one of the greatest achievements of the Soviet Union. But by the time they could able to assimilate that, the Soviet Union disintegrated in 1991. And once it disintegrated, there was no Cold War. And the funds for space flight became very difficult. So anyway, by 1990s, beginning of the 1990s, Cold War was over. And it is a paradox that Americans fought the Soviet Union in space also in those days. Later, once Soviet Union collapsed and the democratic Russia emerged, they started sending their space shuttle to the Mir space station. Look at that, the way in which the world history changes in that. Anyway, Americans didn't want the Soviet space program to collapse due to many reasons. That's why they supported it to a certain extent, and they sent their space shuttle, and many of their astronauts started living in Mir space station and conducted experiments. And this in turn led to what is known as the International Space Station, ISS, which is today in space. I told you 10 people are living in ISS. Even at this moment of time, 10 people, Americans, Russians, okay, and a Japanese, okay, they're all living in International Space Station, and it is circling the Earth at a height of 400 kilometers. But it started its life, that is, the beginning of International Space Station was in 1998 when Russia launched the first module and the United States launched the other modules. And it started growing rapidly over time, and today that is the one in which human space flight is almost conducted. And of course, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, I told you, what are all the human achievements in space, how they gradually change from moon to Earth orbit to reusable space vehicles like space shuttle to International Space Station. In the new millennium, that is in 2003, a third nation entered the race as far as the human space flight is concerned, that is China. On October 15th, 2003, China launched its first space traveler by name Yang Li Wei. He is the first Chinese space traveler. Many people call them as taikonauts. Okay, I don't know. The thing is, this is media created thing. So Yang Li Wei was the first person. He went and circled he revolved around the Earth in his Shenzhou spacecraft, Shenzhou 5 spacecraft, and came back to Earth. I was very fortunate enough to meet him in Bangalore, and I asked him a question as to how much of G-force, that is, when a rocket lifts off and accelerates, the people sitting there, astronauts and cosmonauts, feel that their weight has increased. Okay, in orbit there is no weight, but when they go to space and accelerating in a rocket, it appears as though their body weight is increased several times. I asked him, how many times your body weight you felt as though it had increased? He could not speak even a word of English. When it was translated, he just showed like this. I experienced 5 Gs, he told me. In fact, I was very happy to meet him. So I've been very fortunate, thanks to one Dr. M.Y.S. Prasad, who was the Deputy Director of Space Application Center, and he was the Director of DECO also. And he invited me, knowing my interest in writing about space. Of course, this is the Shenzhou spacecraft. It, to a certain extent, looks like Soyuz because they got a lot of information from Russians after the 1990s. So anyway, Chinese have innovated also. Basic design is Soyuz related thing. And of course, in 2000, between 2001 and 2010, one more important development happened. That is, the so-called space tourists went to space. My dear friends, it's not easy to become a space tourist because these people, some 3 to 4 people who went as space tourists, they had to cough up. That is, they had to pay about $30 million or more, okay, to Russia. And first one was Denis Tito, and the picture shown here is that of Anushe Ansari. Okay, she was a US citizen of Iranian origin. She also went to space as a space tourist. She went up in a Soyuz spacecraft, lived in one part of the International Space Station for about a week and came back. Not only that difficulty, they had to undergo training for about 8 to 10 months in the Soviet Union. Yuri Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Star City near Moscow. I'll tell you, see the astronauts at the time of launch, they sit like this. It is called a semi-supine position. That is, your leg should be above your head. See, look at that. Can you see? Because when your body weight increases, the blood tends to pool up in the lower part of the body if you stand erect. So if it is like this, blood flow will be there to the brain. It is better. So that is the reason they have to train for this. And you have to withstand G forces. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 times the weight may increase. You should not be blacked out. So they give a lot of training in a thing called centrifuge. Okay. And at the same time, there is a plane called Vomit Comet. It is named as Vomit Comet for fun by many people. And this plane flies in parabolic path, and the people who are there inside that plane with a lot of paddings and all those things will be there. They experience weightlessness for a few seconds. Few means 25, 30 seconds. And how to drink, how to eat in space, how to manipulate things, how to tighten a net, that kind of training is provided in planes, where weightlessness is artificially created for only a few seconds. All these things they have to undergo, besides giving $3 million or more even, I don't know. I've read different fees in different sources, and this is the way it was. They were moneyed people. So space flight is not easily accessible. Anyway, in 2011, 30 years after the launch of Space Shuttle, after 135 flights, the Space Shuttle program was discontinued. This was the last Space Shuttle landing. So that's the way, end of an era by 2011. Then, how will the Americans go to the International Space Station? They don't have a rocket vehicle. So this is the International Space Station, which grew into a big hub. Today it is more than 2 football fields wide, okay? And the pressurized volume, like it is being in a 32 square house, okay? Normally we have 8 to 10 square house, middle class people in India. So it is a 32 square house here, this part, pressurized part itself. So it's a huge complex. How did they build? How did they go? Paradoxically, their former enemy came into picture. They started using the Russian Soyuz vehicles to send even their astronauts to space. So Americans were not having any vehicle to travel to space. So they relied on the Russian Soyuz rocket and Soyuz spacecraft by paying $80 million for one seat, $80 million. And this is the Soyuz spacecraft. And even today, 3 days back, this has been launched and it has attached itself to the International Space Station today. So look at that beautiful Soyuz spacecraft. And of course, between 2010 and 2020, that is the time frame in which I'm talking now. And this is the time during which 2018, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji announced on August 15, 2018, a son or a daughter from India will travel to space on board our own rocket in our own spacecraft, Gaganyaan. So India's human space flight program is called Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan means sky craft, I would say. Gaganyaan means. So that is the name of the program. As per this program, it is decided to launch Gaganyaan spacecraft on board India's most powerful rocket, GSLV Mark III. This is the liftoff of GSLV Mark III. So 3 space travelers, maybe Vyomnauts or whatnot, I don't know what they are called, and they will be launched to space. They will be there for 1 week in Gaganyaan spacecraft, and they will be brought back safely by that Gaganyaan spacecraft. So far, this is the thing which has happened, and 4 Air Force officers have been trained in the Soviet Union, in Russia. That is what the reports say, because I don't know what is happening. I'm not a spokesman for ISRO. I'm a passionate science communicator. I'm sharing my views as a passionate science communicator only today. I'm not representing ISRO in any way. Okay, that is about Gaganyaan. And let me very quickly tell you what are all the problems in space. See, look at that. People in all directions, they are pointing, in fact, in a spacecraft. See, there is no weight in space because your spacecraft, everything in it will be continuously falling towards the earth, but not reaching the surface. That is why you will face weightlessness. A similar thing you will face while coming down in a lift also, elevator also, a little, very little. So this is almost at 1 G, I mean, it is falling. It is natural acceleration due to gravity, 9.8 meters per second. Okay, or that is the way it is. And this is the reason why you face weightlessness. And my dear friends, daily chores like brushing and washing your face, combing your hair, and using a toilet, whether for a short visit or for a long visit, it is not easy in space. Your food, I like dokla a lot. You cannot eat it just like that. It may go into your nose, your ear, and it may go to your sensitive electronic instruments. We can't eat idli. We can't eat dosa just like that. So they have to be prepared using a special method called freeze drying. This is Sunita Williams, which is showing how to brush teeth in space. And of course, nowadays you need not have to squeeze yourself some toothpaste kind of food. You can use fresh fruits, everything, but it has to be freeze dried so that it will not break down into crumbs. I will eat glucose biscuit. It is not possible just like that because it may float away. That is the reason. And of course, toilet. This is a very big problem. On the ground, it is not a laughable thing. If you don't eliminate bodily waste, they will accumulate in your body and become poison. That is the reason body wastes are eliminated, both solid and liquid. So International Space Station has $1 million toilet in the Russian section. This is the one. And all I would say that instead of gravity, suction, vacuum suction works there. And that is how people are able to live. And of course, if you live in space for a long time, then what happens is your body also suffers, your mind also suffers. There will be continuous loss of calcium from the blood, and muscles gets weakened, including heart muscle. The immune system of the body weakens, and psychologically also, because of confined space, what psychologists call claustrophobia comes into picture. That is why, to fight these things, exercises are continuously done. This is a treadmill on which one astronaut is working. That is precisely the reason why Rakesh Sharma also try to do yoga in space. And of course, today there is not much boredom. You can observe the Earth below in the International Space Station and enjoy this view for hours together. And you can have your own laptop, your own small cubicle kind of thing. All these things go a long way in keeping humans happy and being very productive and intelligent. And of course, women in space, I would like to tell you, there was a time when only men, that to test pilots, not even pilots, test pilots went to space, that's all. But of course, Valentina Tereshkova went as early as 1963. But all said and done, many women have gone to space. They have worked as commanders. Okay, they have walked in space. Of course, Kalpana Chawla epitomizes this, symbolizes this. She liked flying. She died while flying, in fact. While she was involved in space flight, which she liked, she died. Okay, she is one of the greatest, one of the finest astronauts, I would say. And there is another lady of Indian origin, Sunita Williams. Incidentally, her father was a Gujarati. He is a Gujarati, and mother is from the European nation of Slovenia, which was part of Yugoslavia once upon a time, now an independent country. Even she didn't forget her Indian culture. She carried Bhagavad Gita. She carried the statue of a Ganesha, and she carried samosas to orbit. Okay, well, I have met Sunita Williams even, and she has many world records. The longest stay in space at that time, about 10 years back. Okay, 195 days she stayed, and longest spacewalk she did. And you see, her patience you have to appreciate. Even after shaking hands with people for 3-4 hours, again, when I requested for a picture, she came smilingly and gave she agreed. That is the difference between an astronaut and a just commoner. And of course, space flight is inherently dangerous. The kind of speeds, the kind of accelerations, the kind of temperatures, the kind of pressures, these are the things which we never experience in our daily life. The first fatality, that doesn't mean that we should not undertake space flight, but it is associated with danger. That's what I'm telling. So Apollo 1 astronauts, 3 people, they died on the launch pad itself. They were doing some rehearsal, they died. Then Russians also lost a cosmonaut when their Soyuz spacecraft failed in 1968. It came and slammed the ground and burnt up. So Vladimir Komarov, he was the first person to die during space flight. Then, of course, 3 people, Volkov, Petsayev, and Dobrovolsky. These 3 people in 1971, when their Soyuz capsule landed, when it was opened, all the 3 in the sitting position itself, they were dead. Why? The oxygen leaked out of their capsule on the way back to Earth, and they died. Of course, a lot of modifications were done. In 1986, there was a huge explosion of the space shuttle Challenger, and 7 people died, including 2 women. She would have been the first teacher in space, a civilian citizen, okay, would have been. And she was a NASA engineer, Judith Resnick, and both of them died over the Kennedy Space Center itself. And this gentleman I met in ISRO Satellite Center when he visited there in 1984. I had joined at that time. This is Dr. Ronald McNair. And of course, Kalpana Chawla's space shuttle Columbia, it disintegrated at an altitude of 65 kilometers, and 7 people, including Kalpana Chawla and Laurel Salton Blair, she is a NASA astronaut, they all died. Okay, they are these brave men and women which have given up their life for the cause of exploration. That is what you have to say. Today, this is the International Space Station. Now I'll come to the prospects. In the next 5 minutes, I'll finish it. Okay. The prospects for space flight looks quite good. Okay. It is not like during the Cold War era, but still it looks very good because, you know, private industries are entering into the domain of space flight. This is the International Space Station. And how do we go there today? I said Russians took American astronauts also all these years. From 2011 to 2020, Americans had no other choice than to take a Russian rocket and a spacecraft. But today, they have what is known as SpaceX. There is a company, it is having a spacecraft called Crew Dragon, in which 7 people can travel to space. Already 2 people once and 4 people once have already traveled to space. And that is the way it is. Americans have a vehicle to go to space and bring their astronauts back. And this is the one which may take space tourists also sometime in the future at a cost, of course. Space tourism also may be promoted using this spacecraft. And there is another spacecraft being built by Boeing called CST-100. This looks like an Apollo spacecraft. Okay, so this is yet another spacecraft which Americans have perfected. Okay, they are testing it. It can also take some 7 people to International Space Station. And third one, these are all private industry endeavors. Okay, I tell you, this is SpaceX, the company is SpaceX, a private company. This is Boeing, a private company. This is Sierra Nevada Corporation in the United States. This is a small space plane called Dream Chaser. This will also definitely today or tomorrow it will help give rise to space tourism. Of course, the rates have to come down significantly, but now it is very costly. It can also take 7 people. And all these things are not yet tested, except for this spacecraft. This is yet to be tested. Prospects are good. Again, prospects for good, this also, but a lot of problems are experienced. And this is the way Dream Chaser is. It is docked with the International Space Station, attached to the International Space Station. Of course, all our friends who are attending this lecture know who is he, Jeff Bezos, okay, Amazon boss. And he has started a company called Blue Origin. And this one, he has perfected a spacecraft and rocket called New Shepard. And of course, this is also for space tourism, but it will not take it to orbit around the Earth. Only zoom, it will go to space and come back. It will not be that costly. And of course, Richard Branson, many people may know, he is Virgin Airways, you know, the thing is of Britain and Australia, many subsidiaries are there. He has formed a company called Virgin Galactic. And this spacecraft is called as Spaceship 2. It is being taken by this carrier spacecraft. It will first go to a height of a few thousand feet. From there, this vehicle, the central one, it will use its rocket engine and go to space and touch the space and make the people who are sitting there to experience weightlessness for a few minutes and comes back. And of course, there are plans to launch, you know, the thing is inflatable spacecraft and inflatable space stations. There is a company called Biglow Aerospace, and that wants to launch a space station like this. So prospects for human spaceflight are really good, no doubt about it. And this module, which is an inflated one, is already at the International Space Station. Of course, last few things I'm coming. See, the next human destination immediately is the moon. See, 12 people have walked on the moon. They have come back. From 1972, no human being has stepped on the moon. This time, Americans, Europeans, okay, Canadians, Chinese especially, and Russians, they all want to go to, Japanese, they want to go to the moon. But not for a few days. They want to stay there and establish lunar bases, okay, and to exploit the lunar resources there. And the Americans have a program, of course, international participation, private sector participation is there. It is called Artemis program. As part of that, a spacecraft called Orion will take the people to moon and bring them back. And there will be a space station not in Earth orbit, in the orbit of the moon. Okay, there will be this space station, and it will help to explore different regions of the moon by lander spacecraft. It is called as Gateway. And of course, to travel in SpaceX spacecraft, that Crew Dragon, as well as to go to the moon, one American of Indian origin, Rajachari, has been selected, and he's the third Indian American. Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams, and now Rajachari. And of course, undoubtedly, the next human destination is Mars, not the immediate one. First, American strategy is first to moon, from there to Mars. So the next human destination is undoubtedly Mars, because of the similarities between the Mars and the Earth. They are striking. I can speak for 1 hour on that. Okay, amongst all the planets in the solar system, the dearest to humans is Mars. And today or tomorrow, humans are going to visit Mars. But when? It is very difficult to say. I have repeatedly told, it is not a Cold War era where there is no blank check for the space program, especially for the human space program. That doesn't mean it has been stopped, but funds are not there, too much of funds. So no single country can take up this mission to Mars or something. It's not easy. But anyway, probably in 2030s, 2040s, within 2050, probably we can be really optimistic about humans visiting their next destination, Mars. So after 6 decades of Gagarin's flight, having accumulated enormous knowledge and having accomplished many things, despite problems of corona and many things, still the human space flight is progressing very well. Maybe at a slower pace, but it is progressing very well. And the prospects for it look, prospects may not be very bright, but prospects are no doubt bright, and they look very good. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And once again, let me thank Mathur Saab and many other elders, Jain Saab, and all others who have provided me this opportunity, all the institutions which have arranged this lecture, and and all others. And please take whatever I have told you as coming from a passionate science communicator, and not from an ISRO spokesman or anything. So I'm an independent science writer and broadcaster and a commentator. That's all. Please take it like that. And I'm very fortunate to give a lecture after 6 decades of Gagarin's flight. Thank you. Namaskar to all of you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Guruprasad ji. You have given the very good pictures. I am audible?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, very much, sir.
Okay. So you have given a very good picture and shown the curiosity, how the curiosity developed right from history to today's age. Earlier time, the people were just falling from the sky and from the high building and high hills, etc. And space experience. Now the things are changing. People are going towards the moons and Mars, and they're planning. I think whatever you said in 2030, 2040 or 2030, some dreams of moons and Mars.
Yeah.
Of course, there are 12%, but of course, Mars also we will be dreams of, because the work is being done by joint collaboration of Russia, America, and Japanese and Chinese also. So perhaps it is possible. With the lack of fund, of course, one country cannot afford it. Also, I appreciate even the Cold War era, the decision from the politicians are very much good and perfect, and they develop the technology. Like
yes.
Russia had gone to the space, but American wanted to go, so Kennedy took the decision that let us go to the moon. So this is really politicians are eager, not only scientists and technologists, but the politicians and other common technologists. They are favoring they are having the dream to fly space, and they want that we should explore the more planets. I am very much thankful you, sir, for giving the elaborate speech and covering the all aspect of the human space flight. You have shown what are the difficulties that people are facing in the flights, and shown that the zero gravity is how tough, and it's a very challenging thing. That's why we are taking utmost cares in Gaganyaan, and our mission says will be, I hope, will be very safe and will have the educative purpose also, and will collaborate with many other agencies, those who are having experience. Now I request our audience, if they have any questions, kindly ask. Can you put the chat?
Jain Saab, I have an observation to make.
Yes, sir.
Let me compliment my former colleague, Dr. B.R. Guruprasad. Tumba chanagittu presentation, sir.
Yeah.
It was very exhaustive and it is very highly educative. I want to just say one point here. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who challenged the world, saying that we want to be, second to none in utilizing the space technology for human development. That has been successfully done. But there is one pending thing which our mentor, Professor Dhawan said, Satish Dhawan said, that is, the future of mankind will be determined by the science and not by just science and technology. To just quote him, the future of mankind will be determined by the socio-cultural imperatives rather than science and technology alone. Participating in some of the webinars of ESA, NASA, in the recent past, the space situational awareness is becoming very strong. The whole world is no longer, having a peaceful space. It could be counter space, which is building up since 1960 itself, which was not so predominantly known. And there the civic societies and initiatives like what ACM Mathur Saab has initiated now is going to be very important. I want to just say in the end, while this is a good takeoff, we have embarked on the space vision in the human, participation, human exploration. But at the same time, India has to give leadership of the socio-cultural imperatives, because the whole world is looking forward for doing something for the counter space activities. You have Russia, America, China, India, Iran, North Korea, and many space actors today have started doing whatever they do on the ground, they are doing in the space. So this is one important, all the space community has to bear in mind. And the way out is civic societies and younger generation taking an important role as stakeholders and tell the conscience of mankind is to keep space also peaceful and also useful to everybody, and it's happening. I once again thank A.C. Mathur Saab, ACM, and also Dr. B.R. Guruprasad for a wonderful takeoff today. Maybe the next few decades will be having this as a good benchmark, and I'm sure there is a lot of, just imagine 2045, there will be a lunar village, campaign going on to have human settlements in lunar, not only the lunar orbit as a station, as a takeoff station to Mars. So this is the new we are all looking forward as convergence. We can do the difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All I can say is, thank you very much for your valuable comments. The thing is, socio-cultural aspect, yes, no doubt about it. I quoted Kennedy. I believe that this nation commit itself of achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and bringing him safely back to Earth. More prophetic than that was Vikram Sarabhai's thing. Say, you may think that I have by-hearted, but each and every word, whatever he told, there are those who question the relevance of space activities in a developing nation. To us, there is no ambiguity of purpose. We do not have the what can I say? We do not compete with advanced nations in the exploration of the moon, the planets, or the manned space flight. But next thing is important, whatever he said. But we are convinced that if we are to play a meaningful role nationally earned in the Committee of Nations, we must be second to none in the application of advanced technologies to the real problems of man and society. Nobody else would have said in the world. Of course, this itself, if I start interpreting, it will be another 1 hour. This was out of my scope of my talk. That's why I didn't say much. Anyway, thanks for reminding me. Thank you very much. If there is any next question, I will go to.
Yes, that's the mindfulness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. JV sir, for expressing your views on this occasion. Now I will take a few questions. So Mr. Tushar want to ask some question in Hindi. So please speak in your voice.
Yeah.
Sure.
थैंक यू सर जी। आप सभी का मुझे परमिशन देने के लिए धन्यवाद। और अभी आप सभी जो बता रहे थे वो बहुत ज्यादा दिलचस्पी था। और अभी जो सर बोल रहे थे विक्रम साराभाई के लिए, उससे मुझे ये समझ में आया कि ये तो इसरो का जो स्टार्टिंग हुआ था ये यहाँ तक का था। अब फ्यूचर के लिए जो प्रॉब्लम होगी उसके लिए अभी से कुछ ना कुछ करना चाहिए। जैसे डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम ने मिसाल के लिए किया था, वैसे ही स्पेस के अंदर हमने कुछ हमारे के लिए हमारे पीढ़ी से कुछ ऐसा महानायक बनना चाहिए और आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। ये था ये मेरे एक सुझाव था। दूसरा ये था कि अभी आप जो वेबिनार आने वाले समय में करने वाले हैं उसको हम किस तरह से संपर्क कर सकते हैं? कुछ कांटेक्ट या ऐसा कुछ होगा आपकी संस्थान का जिससे हम कांटेक्ट कर सके? हमारे मन में कुछ सवाल हो आगे चल के तो आपकी गाइडेंस चाहिए होगी, तो कैसे कांटेक्ट कर सके? बस यही मुझे पूछना था।
थैंक यू तुषार। पहले तो मैं गुरुप्रसाद जी से बोलूंगा इनके सवाल का जवाब दें। प्लीज रिप्लाई। Have you understood the question, sir?
I have understood, but anyway, Mathur Saab can answer. You can answer that question. In fact, how we can reach people? What else you are doing? Where there was a big presentation, okay, by Bharat sir and Bharat Mehta ji. So you can brief him, sir, on that.
He asked like that Abdul Kalam Azad, APJ has done something. So what we are doing in ISRO for the future, he wanted to ask. It's a simple thing. So just that way, that part you can reply. Remaining things, Mr. will reply.
Yeah. Okay. In the future, the thing is, first of all, today, space, our satellites, they have become the backbone. Okay. Backbone of our economy, our satellites. Whatever satellites हमारा उपग्रह है ना, so वो services को continue करना है. इसलिए बड़ा satellites and my Hindi is Sanskritic Hindi. That is my problem. So, efficient. I use the word Daksh satellites. इसको बनाना है. So and bigger rockets, बहुत बड़ा rockets भी बनाना है. So rocket, satellites, and more important, we have to इसको use करना है. इस satellites को, rockets को proper use has to be there. Until these sectors, work is going on. Okay, in simple English, I will tell you, the thing is in satellites, in rockets, and in utilizing space for the further development of the country, work is going on in ISRO. At the same time, Gaganyaan is the next important thing. Chandrayaan 3, again we are going to moon, and we are making an attempt to land on the moon. And we want to study the sun, Aditya. So to study the sun, we are launching a satellite, and probably we are launching a satellite to study Shukra, Venus. So like that, lot of programs are there. Okay, you can ISRO website also. Okay.
सर एक मिनट, मैं ये बोल रहा था कि डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम पहले हो गए, दूसरा डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम या विक्रम साराभाई जैसा कौन होगा? मैं वो पूछ रहा था। इसके लिए कुछ गाइडेंस चाहिए थे और आपकी संस्था का गाइडेंस मिल जाए तो अच्छा लगेगा।
वो नेक्स्ट तो तुषार भी बन सकते हैं। सर भाई आप भी बन सकते हैं, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं। हमारे नए जो इसरो के अंदर इंडक्ट हो रहे हैं वो भी काफी कॉम्पिटेंट है और हमें जरूर यकीन है कि हमारे सभी नए स्टाफ और जो एग्जिस्टिंग है उसमें से अब्दुल कलाम को से भी आगे निकलने की क्षमता है.
Okay, next question, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. You can add his reply about the.
Yeah, Tushar, you can send your email to us. We are keeping a email database whenever we are arranging a awareness program, even for school children or college going students or professionals. We would be sending you the information. You be in touch with our company ISIE. And we are also publishing a news bulletin. You can subscribe. It is free of charge. We're not charging for this Antriksha Udyog magazine, and it will give you a lot of information.
An email address is also being given. I think antrikshaudyog@gmail.com.
gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat box. Okay, he can note down that.
It was in the presentation also very clear.
It was in the presentation also. It was there, and in the poster which we released for this program, this email ID and WhatsApp numbers are given there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay.
Another question is there?
And any other questions? Somebody want to ask? You can raise the hand.
I think Mr. Srinivas Lakshman, he's
Yeah.
there, and he has a question to ask.
Yeah, please
Please,
ask,
sir.
Srinivas Lakshman.
I am indeed honored by the presence of Sri Srinivas Lakshman ji. Okay.
Please unmute yourself, Srinivas. We are not listening you. Srinivas, you unmute yourself.
Chintamani, can you do from your side? You can unmute him.
If he
He has already done.
No, it is already done.
No, it is still muted.
some other difficulty.
No, it's from locally. I think Mr. Srinivas has to unmute himself.
Okay.
Srinivas ji, please unmute.
Yes, tell me.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me.
Go ahead.
Ask your question. I think you have some question, Mr. Chintamani told.
I didn't have, since you're asking me, I'll ask a question. I didn't have, I was going out, but since you asked me, I'll this thing.
Yeah.
Guru,
Yes.
Guru, why is it that the identities of our 4 Gagayana astronauts are not being revealed? Why is it being kept a top secret? You see, in NASA, which you mentioned so beautifully, they first announce the name and then the mission. Russia does it. China has done it. You gave a beautiful talk to mention about the Chinese guy. Till today, the mystery as to who are the 4 people. Why? What is the reason why ISRO so secretive, Mr. Guruprasad?
Sir, your question is very interesting, but you are asking the wrong person.
Sir, Guru, once again, Guru, come back again.
No. Your question is a fantastic question, but you are asking the question to a wrong person, I said.
Arey, yeah, make some guess. I'm not right.
No, it is very
friend. I'm a space and you.
No, it is very difficult. The thing is, I'm sure that it will be announced in future. See,
I hope they announce it after the mission at least.
What I feel is, the thing is, this is only my personal opinion. Okay. See, the personal details to which we go in our country and become emotional about the personalities, public personalities, and the kind of domino effect it will have once names are announced for interviews and all those things. Probably before the program comes to a particular stage, probably it has been decided to keep it not as a secret or anything. It is not hyped up, that kind of thing. I feel like that. This is my personal.
I guess so, Guru. We should talk when we meet in Mumbai.
I think.
Yeah, thank you. Sir.
Have a nice day. It was a beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored, sir. By your presence.
You're going to get my book soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Rendezvous.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next
Namaskar.
question,
Thank you, Guru. I'll just have to go out. I'll come back. We'll talk in the night.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Mr. Abhishek, you want to ask? His question is, I want to ask, what will be the next major mission of ISRO? You can again repeat, sir.
What is it? What is the?
Prajapati. You want, Abhishek, can you ask yourself or shall I?
He wants to ask basically the future ISRO missions, which are the important ISRO missions.
Again, you can reply it.
Yeah. Okay. Say future ISRO missions means I think I told, but anyway, I'll repeat once again. Future ISRO missions is first thing is, satellites, they're not for in India, they are not for only experiments or anything during the, like we did in the 70s. They are the backbone of our economy. Each and every ATM is connected through satellites. Stock exchanges are through satellites. Governance, by and large, is through satellites. Okay, connectivity is like that, I am telling. So the Prime Minister, for governance, satellite ISRO technology should be used, he said in 2017. So first thing is, whatever services satellites are providing, you have to ensure that they continue, because satellite have a particular satellite has a definite lifetime. So I have to replace them. That work is there. But at the same time, you build better satellites in terms of lifetime, in terms of the amount of information it can transmit over over a second. That is called throughput, they call it. That is the thing. Okay. And another thing is whether it can see things in a better way, the Earth observation satellites. Okay, weather information, can it give it in a better way? So better satellites are being built. This is in the field of satellites. Navigation satellites, look at that, Navic. There was no navigation satellites once upon a time in India. Now we have a full-fledged system, but you have to ensure that it works, and you have to expand slowly. It is a regional system. So this is pertaining to satellites. Then pertaining to rockets, can we use more greener fuels like liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen? Liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, when you combine, water will be formed. That's all. That is the thing. So it is by and large harmless. That is the thing. So better rocket engines, more efficient and greener rocket fuels. That is the second thing. Third thing is, you have to send spacecraft towards other bodies. The moon, Chandrayaan-3, and Mars, I don't know, as of now, maybe another Mars spacecraft may be there. I'm not sure about it. I have not read anything. Shukrayaan, to send a spacecraft to Venus, that is being planned. Aditya will be sent to study the sun. And another thing is, to provide services competitively at the international level. We know that 341 satellites have been launched by ISRO through PSLV. Okay, so you capture a better part of the global market for satellites and rockets. That is the strategy. That is the one which ISRO is concentrating on, based on the Prime Minister's directive as well as the decision of the government to privatize things. So these are some of the things which I think are the future programs of ISRO. Of course, Gaganyaan is there. That is the one which is most challenging, because the presence of a human being changes everything else. So Gaganyaan is another thing. Thank you.
Sir,
yeah, one other I want to add. Now we have future, our space station also. What I heard.
Yeah, but it
is
also
will
going to come.
It will take time. Yes.
Because first we have to prove that we can build a spacecraft that will be there for a few days, at least a small spacecraft. Yes, sir.
Through Gaganyaan.
Yeah.
Sir, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Thank you for a wonderful talk. I am Chintamani Pai, co-founder of Space Geeks. So, sir, I have a question. Since now the new policy has been announced regarding privatization of space, and also the new education policy has also come into the come into the effect. So, sir, what is your message to students who are science students and engineering? How they should take up things, and what should be the thrust to develop a skilled human resource to take up the challenges in the space sector? Because
see, already in this regard, ISRO has already started incubation centers for industry people, startups and all those things. And anyway, the government is bringing in the private sector. Okay, so on a large scale, not already industry is playing a very important role in Indian space program as a service provider. Now it wants to become it is being asked to become a partner, whether it is private industry or ISRO. Best thing is, for the students, I would say, have a basic engineering degree. And be strong in the fundamentals, whatever you study. Okay, with that, you can enter either the Indian space program or even private industries which are providing service. Godrej and Boys, Larsen and Tubro, Walchennagar Industries. How many are there? Godrej and Boys, Mumbai. So
Yes.
like that, so many are there. So Avasarala industry, that is there, like that, so many things are there. So study engineering. And ISRO website is there, it provides all the information. And of course, your own organization is doing a lot. Okay. So the thing is, so taking all these into account, and especially non-government organizations like these enthusiastic organizations promoting jobs in space, as well as enthusiasm in space, goes a long way in organizations like this. Make use of these things. That's what I would say. That's what I would not say to you, to the students, other students. You know that very well already. Okay. Thank you.
And many bright students, they also started their own new startups in space
Yes.
also,
Yes.
and they are doing very well.
Yes, one of my own friends, they're in information broadcasting ministry. Their son also has started. That is the way.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And they are doing very well.
Yes.
When our rockets also, they are trying to build, and small satellite also,
Yeah.
they are challenged. They have accepted, and they are really doing well.
Yeah, it has to go a long way still. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you then.
Jain sir, you can take a few more questions, one or two from here, and then
Yeah,
from
one or two we
YouTube
can
if
take,
somebody is there.
I think probably one question is from Nisha Chug. Are you able to listen, or you want to ask yourself, or shall I ask on your behalf?
Sir, you can ask on my behalf.
Yeah, she is asking are any openings about future as well as such programs, are there any openings in ISRO or space related activities after PhD degrees in ISRO? Probably.
No, I would say that as far as the policy of ISRO is concerned, okay, let her visit the ISRO website, and anyway, questions can be asked there, okay, regarding after PhD what can be done. I understand that lateral entries are possible. You can directly write to ISRO for recruitment and all those things after PhD kind of thing. I'm not sure about it. Let her confirm this at the ISRO website. Definitely opportunities abound a lot, I would say.
Yeah. I think can I add this thing something? I think
Yes.
earlier there was some all PhD can directly apply for the SD post few years back.
Correct.
I don't know that things are existing or not.
No, now I'm not sure whether it can be directly. It can be yes. During our time also it was there.
Yeah.
Now I don't know, sir. Actually, some new policies have come after privatization. This one. Not only that, policies change. I'm not sure about it. I can inquire and tell. No problem. In fact.
Okay. So.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I think, but Nisha, I can advise you whatever the PhD work you are doing, kindly post on ISRO's to concerned persons. Perhaps they can find out some work or some research work related to your work. And of course, students can apply JRF, SRF, fellowship always existed. So probably you may fit in some criteria, and there are a lot of work is going on in ISRO in many fields: electronics, communication, computer, chemicals, physics, astronomy. So if somebody feels that your exposure or your qualification is good, perhaps
you see, for PhD holders, Jain sir, there is a direct recruitment, and ISRO advertise in the newspapers. So keep a watch on the newspaper
on site,
and you can see. Yes.
No, ISRO website has got every information, including advertisements. So it has got. Let her go through the website.
Regularly you can.
Half an hour, she will realize that. Okay. Thank you then.
Thank you, Guruprasad ji, for replying nicely. And if anybody wants to comment anything, Mr. Rajkumar Arora, I think, was here, our ex-controller and deputy director. If he's Mr. Arora, you are here? No, I think he has left probably. Probably he wanted to give some comments. Now I request our Mr. Chintamani Pai. He is our co-founder of Space Geek, and he always helps in organizing any programs. And he's a very dynamic personality. He works till late night and finish the task. And even during the travel, he used to do a lot of activities. And we always contact him for any crisis or related things. For example, in the morning also, we are not getting. So I request Mr. Chintamani Pai to present the vote of things. And this also also that some announcement he wants to make about this thing. Of the
बरोबर खरंच यार.
Thank
आपण
you.
ना मात्र
Thank you very
टेन्शन
much,
राखा.
Jain sir and Mathur sir, to make us part of this event. We are always eager and always excited to be a part of any space activity event, be it educational perspective or technology perspective. And of course, vote of thanks will be done by my team member Hari Tejas Iyer. And before we proceed to vote of thanks, I would like to make few announcements. First of all, if there are any school students who are watching this program, either by joining to our Zoom link or from YouTube channel, they can submit their paintings or write-ups having a theme around the International Day of Human Spaceflight. And those details will be soon posting in our chat window, even a Google form link. And please do send us your themed paintings and write-ups about the International Day of Human Spaceflight. And those selected paintings and write-ups will receive e-certificate awards. That is what was decided by Mathur sir. And we will, the whole motivation is to inspire young generation of students to take up careers in space and especially in STEM areas, because when we talk about space, it requires a skilled human resource. And we want through such activities, events, we want that young students take up, they get inspired, they get encouraged to take up careers in space. So with that, I will request my team member Hari Tejas Iyer to propose vote of thanks.
Chintamani, can you tell the time limit by what time they'll have to send their entries?
Yes. So students will have to send their themed paintings and write-ups by tomorrow 12 noon. So we have given a day to submit their paintings and write-ups.
Okay.
And the format is also mentioned in the Google form link. So that we'll be even putting it on the YouTube channel as a comment and also in the Zoom chat window. Hari, are you there?
Yeah, hi. Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First off, thanks for the opportunity for allowing me to present the vote of thanks. I'd like to start. Okay. Dr. Guruprasad, Professor Mathur, our most valued invited guests and dear participants. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Space Geeks and Indian Space Industries Exhibitors, Space Education Research Foundation, Ahmedabad, People Science Forum, Mysore, Space Science Club, Ghaziabad, UL Space Club, Kozhikode, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri Space Science Gallery from Ghaziabad, Broadcast Engineering Society, Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad chapter, IITR Alumni Association in Ahmedabad, and our media partner, Sunrise India Samachar, and the entire team responsible for organizing today's talk, celebrating the International Day of Human Space Flight, extend a hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Dr. Guruprasad, for taking us on a historical journey, showcasing the human endeavor, a natural yearning to break frontiers and set new ones in our wake. In the spirit of science communication, I deeply appreciate the parallels drawn to Magellan's spirit of discovery, to Jules Verne's stories, and Tintin, my favorite comic. This reaffirms the fact that imagination is the first and a key component towards realizing a dream. We also learned that spirit of competition is the second component which speeds up innovation. It was very interesting how the cold relations between the US and Soviet Union evolved to a stage of partnership which it enjoys today, inspiring a whole new generation of promising space programs like that of ISRO, and a whole set of new things to imagine in various other fields of science and engineering. What was just a dream once upon a time, over the past 7 decades, has now become a part of human culture and tradition, especially with brand new players like Virgin Galactic, SpaceX, and Blue Origins entering this field. Lastly, I also wish to express my thanks to Professor Mathur for inviting Shivam Singh to talk, for providing him a platform to voice out his dreams and aspirations, thereby hopefully encouraging many more students like him. Thank you, sir. I end my vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Tejas and Chintamani Pai. Now I request all the participants who can switch on their camera for the group photo, please. Whoever having, you can inform.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and do the needful.
Yeah. And also thanks to Amrita for always supporting behind the scene. And okay, so I request all the participants to switch on their video stream so that we can take a screenshot. Yeah, so I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Even Amritanshuji, you can take few screenshots. Yeah,
this will
so
go.
I'm taking. Okay, one more. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everybody.
you very much. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Guru,
you.
for accepting our offer and delivering a very nice talk. I also came to know a lot of things which I was not knowing earlier.
Nice, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you,
I'm thankful to all
Guruprasad
my
ji.
ISRO
Thank you very
colleagues,
much.
those who spared their time and attended this. And hopefully we will have better activities in future for the common man of the country. We want the fruits of space science and technology should reach to the common man.